for the Food Fanatics. Welcome to our podcast brought to you by me, Kaylee, Micaela, Rufina, and Clarissa. Make sure to grab a lunch and relax as we take a deep dive into foods from different cultures in this podcast. We will focus on popular holiday foods in this episode as Thanksgiving and Christmas are just around the corner. So, let's get cooking, everyone, and prepare yourself for a new food history and recommendations for today.
Okay, for our first PSA, I'm going to be talking about a typical Hispanic tradition called Las Posadas. To give a little bit of background info before the food, Las Posadas is a tradition celebrated around Christmas that commemorates the journey Mary and Joseph made from Nazareth to Bethlehem in search of refuge to deliver baby Jesus. This event is somewhat of a big deal as the whole process takes about a week, more specifically 9 days. Typically, children dress up as Mary and Joseph and go to designated houses each night to ask for a place to stay. As the biblical story goes, they get rejected each time. However, this doesn't deter from the various foods cooked for the procession behind Mary and Joseph. A more popular dish would be tamales. It's obviously a favorite and a well-known dish not only in Mexico, but in the U.S. as well. Through various fillings, one has various options to choose from, including several meats, cheeses, and chilies. There's something for everyone. Personally, I would suggest the red tamales, which include a red chili pork. But hey, you could go out and try others for yourself.
Let's start our podcast off with something sweet. Here is Sad and Sugar by Humma Humma.
Okay, moving on to our next PSA. Thanksgiving and Christmas is celebrated by various cultures around the world, and as an Asian American myself, something my family always eats to celebrate big holidays like Thanksgiving and Christmas is hot pot or huoguo. Essentially, hot pot is a pot consisting of various food bases that you can choose for yourself, and you can cook various meats, vegetables, and seafood in your hot pot. It's a really fun way to have a delicious meal as you chat with your family and eat whatever you want to eat. Compared to Western culture that usually celebrates Thanksgiving and Christmas with a turkey or mashed potatoes, a hot pot may seem like an unusual way to celebrate. But what's most important for a holiday is that families are able to gather together and enjoy delicious food that everyone likes. So for your next Thanksgiving or Christmas, you might want to try out a hot pot too.
Sounds good. Up next, we have you, lo-fi, chilled beats to ease you into our next section.
So guys, since we already talked about how different cultures celebrate Thanksgiving and Christmas, let's take a look at what my co-host would recommend for you guys.
So for my first recommendation, I would recommend Rosca de Reyes, translated to King's Cake, because in Hispanic culture, there's Dia de los Reyes, Day of the Kings, served to recognize the three wise men who traveled all over to find Jesus, the Son of God. Rosca de Reyes is baked as an oval to symbolize a crown, and there are also various dried and candied fruits to symbolize jewels. The fun part about this dish is the baby Jesus figurines hidden inside. When slices are given out to everyone, those who end up with the Jesus are required to throw a party. Seems fun, right? Would you like to host the party or go to one? Try Rosca de Reyes and you'll find out.
I think for me, I would like to go to a party. But for my recommendation, I would recommend to you guys dumplings. In Chinese culture, we eat dumplings during Chinese New Year. Since dumplings look like the currency of ancient China, eating dumplings symbolizes wealth and fortune. So not only is it delicious, but dumplings also hold a special meaning. There are various fillings in dumplings like pork, leek, or shrimp, so there's bound to be a dumpling that would suit your taste.
Wow, I love dumplings. I'm craving one right now. I recommend mooncakes because in Chinese culture we have a holiday called the Mid-Autumn Festival, which is around August or September where we celebrate. Mooncakes were used to hide the date of a rebellion against the emperors because of an unfavored government, so we use mooncakes as a symbolism of freedom today. There are various types of mooncakes, including red bean mooncake and white lotus mooncake, but my personal favorite is the green tea mooncake. These mooncakes have different textures and flavors that leave you wanting more.
Now I want a mooncake. I recommend indulging in a conchita, most commonly known as pan dulce. Around the holiday season, this Mexican cuisine is greatly appreciated in the cold weather with a side of coffee. If you do not like coffee, do not worry. This sweet bread can also be enjoyed with hot chocolate or any desired drink that is typically warm. Depending on your liking, you can either choose to dip it in your drink or eat it dry alongside the drink. During the 19th century, the desire for sweetness in bread was desired and fulfilled. Stop by at a panaderia and pick yourself a box of conchitas to share with your family.
Great recommendations, everyone. Make sure to try them out, go to the store, and get some for yourself.
For our last song, here is some upbeat cooking music for you guys to jam out to while whipping up some delicious meals.
Thank you to all of you who are listening and have been listening to our podcast for great food recommendations and news. We really appreciate you. This has been For the Food Fanatics. I'm Kaylee, signing off, and on the behalf of my co-hosts, we'll be signing off too.